It didn't take long at all for Mike Vrabel to bring in one of his boys. Harold Landry has signed with the New England Patriots, baby. The first move of hopefully many for the Patriots this off season. They sign a multi-time 10-sack man. Harold Landry, the former Tennessee Titan, has signed with your and my New England Patriots on a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. The former Boston College boy is back home, and he is looking to set the edge in New England. That's exactly what the Patriots are getting with this edge rusher, a edge setter, both in his mentality and his play. Harold Landry was a player that I wanted the Patriots to draft long ago, and he has finally made his way to New England, to his home being both with Mike Vrabel and being in New England. Harold Landry is a big-time signing. Don't discount this, Patriots fans. This is a 28-year-old pass rusher who turns 29 in June, who's coming off a 9-sack season. The year before that, a 10.5-sack season. The year before that, he tore his ACL. But the year before that, 12 sacks. He has 9+ sacks in 4 of his 6 NFL seasons. 4 of his 6 NFL seasons. He is one of the best run defenders in football. So, let me put it simple for you, okay? The Patriots have signed a starting edge rusher for hopefully the next 3 years. A guy that knows Mike Vrabel's system very well, a guy that knows Mike Vrabel's culture very well, and Mike Vrabel approves. I love this signing. Not only because I've loved Harold Landry for years, and I've wanted him on the Patriots ever since he was a rookie, but I feel like this is a great fit. I feel like this is great for the culture, for the team on the field. I feel like this was a big need that the Patriots needed to address. And I feel like this is the type of edge rusher the Patriots covet. He's excellent against the run. And the Patriots definitely struggled against the run last year. We were one of the worst run defenses in football. Harold Landry was tied for 16th in sacks with 9. He was 6th in run stops with 26. He was 6th in tackles for loss with 12. And he was 5th in run defense grade among all edge rushers with an 82.2. According to Pro Football Focus, he had his best grade of his NFL career, playing 832 snaps on the defensive line for the Titans with a 70.5 PFF grade, an 82.2 run defense grade, which I said was 5th. He also has the 4th best coverage grade last year as well among all edge rushers. Now, where his weakness lied was actually in his pass rushing grade. He typically does not grade well as a pass rusher. And I don't know if that's a PFF thing, if that's a per play win rate type of deal. I'm not exactly sure why, because like I said, this guy finishes, okay? He sacks the quarterback. Like the last 3 years he has played, he has over 30 sacks. He averages more than 10 sacks a season over the last 3 years. He has a Pro Bowl on his resume. And he's a player that's persevered through an ACL and come back from that ACL and still managed to put up 70 tackles a year and 9+ sacks a year. He also had a safety this year. He had 22 quarterback hits in 2021 and 2022. He's had 70+ tackles in 2021, 2023, and 2024. Like I mentioned, he did not play in 2022. And in the playoffs, he's been to the playoffs 3 times. He has at least 1 sack in every single playoff run with the Tennessee Titans. He had 1.5 in 2021 on Joe Burrow. He had 2 sacks in 2020 and 1 sack in 2019, a game in which they beat the Patriots, if you might recall, in the wild card round. I'm not sure if he sacked Mahomes, Brady, or Lamar, but he sacked one of those quarterbacks. So Even in the playoffs, he's put up sacks. So this guy is a finisher. When he gets to the quarterback, he finishes. He might not be down to down the most productive pressure player of all time, but when it comes to finishing sacks and stopping the run, you've got a guy in Harold Landry. Not only that, you're going to have a guy that is approved by our defensive coordinator, who is the former defensive line coach of the Tennessee Titans. Remember? Right? So he's going to know how to coach him, get the most out of him, how to utilize him in stunts and games up front, which is a heavy, heavy deal with that Tennessee pass rush over the last few years. So Landry is athletic enough, swift enough, smooth enough to operate in those games up front. He's also, when I remember scouting him out of college, I remember being extremely impressed by his dip and his bend around the corner. But maybe after that ACL, he has slightly declined in his ability to be agile, and he more so wins with power now, which could be, pretty true. But I do feel like, throughout his career, he's produced sacks. So, you can't even really say that he's just a guy that puts sacks up in 1 year. It's not like he's a 1 year wonder. You know what I mean? So even with some of these pressure stats where I've seen people tweet about it and it's like Landry's overrated, it's like, no, when you got a guy that's this good at stopping the run and puts up that many sacks, I'll take that guy any day. Steve Palazzolo, formerly of PFF, said over the last 3 seasons, Landry has an 8th percentile PFF pass rushing grade. That's 55. But he has 81st percentile sack percentage. So one of those things does not make sense. And I'm leaning towards PFF grade, honestly, to be honest. And his run D grade is excellent every single year pretty much. So, he's just a really good player. He's just a really good football player, and the Patriots need really good football players. Last season, diving deeper into his scouting here, he also had a 74.3 tackle grade, which was also pretty darn good. But, 30 pressures, he had 42 tackles, 38 stops, which was 10th in the NFL, which included the postseason. So if you take out the postseason, it's probably even more or higher. And yeah, so I'm excited, man. I don't think the contract is anything crazy. Patriots have a ridiculous amount of money, so I'm not really even worried about the contract. I do think he's an every down player. I do think that he'll be very productive in terms of the blitzing schemes that the Titans put together. I'm confident in his ability to get home at the quarterback because I'm confident that the coaching staff knows how to use him. NFL draft files. Again, Harold Landry had a 4.8 pass rush win rate in 2024, the worst in the NFL among 68 edge rushers. Now, that's pretty concerning. But again, why does he have so many sacks every single year of his career? Just saying. And I do feel like, this year that might have been the case, but I don't think we could say that about every year. Was that just this year that he had a poor pass rush win rate? Because I don't necessarily think that it's been his entire career. I think that he's had other years, like even last year, where he's been more productive, right? So he's another year removed from an ACL injury. He's not 30, he's 28, and he's really good at stopping the run. Tennessee's defense has been one of the best run defenses in football when Mike Vrabel was there and even last year. And that's largely because of Harold Landry's ability, right? So we look back, I'm just going to check 2023 just to look at some of the pressure percentages things. But man, I'm excited. I've always liked Harold Landry. Now, when we think of our edge room, that allows us some flexibility to move around Keon White to interior pass rushing situations and interior pass rushing snaps. Anthony Jennings is going to be there. I feel like the Patriots' run defense, just between Anthony Jennings and Harold Landry, that is going to be stifling. Those are 2 edge setters. Those are 2 big boys in the run game. They're not going to be ran on. You're not getting to the edges on those 2 guys, right? And if Barmore's healthy, eating up blocks inside, good luck running on the Patriots. Like Jawan Bentley back in the middle, I feel like the Patriots' run defense, just with this move alone, is going to be so much better. Okay, so we look back to last year with Landry, and his grading was not better. He played far less snaps as well. He had more pressures, 47. This was in 2023. He had, according to PFF, 11 sacks, and he had a 7.1 PRP, which is pass rushing productivity, which honestly isn't that bad. That's not that bad of a number, a 7.1. That is around the 50s. So, right, he's not a premier pass rusher. And the win percentage was around 10%, which was similar, right? So he's not like a marquee pass rusher over the last 2 years after the ACL. But 2023 would indicate that maybe 2024's numbers are a little bit misleading in some of the other, some of the other statistics that might show that he's not quite as good as he used to be. But again, like he just put up 9 sacks. So 9 sacks, and then according to Pro Football Reference, 15 quarterback hits, 15 tackles for loss, which was the most of his career. And it wasn't like the Titans were leading in a lot of games and he still had 9 sacks. Like, how many games were the Titans actually leading in? How many games were they actually in a position to get sacks? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. And then you also, like, some of these pass rushing stats, you got to factor in, like, how is the player being used? What is he being asked to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, his PRP this year was pretty poor, right? It was not good. Like 4.9, that is not good. That's far below average. But that's, still not near the bottom of the league. There's still far many that are lower than him. But yeah, this is good for Landry too. I mean, he went to Boston College. I believe his wife is from Boston, if I'm not mistaken. He's a former second-round pick, 41st overall in the 2018 NFL Draft. I remember wanting the Patriots to pick him at the end of the first round in 2018. I wanted Lamar and I wanted Harold Landry, I think, off the top of my head. And I remember really liking the Titans draft that year. But yeah, I'm glad that we finally got him. We know how he's going to be used. We know the tempo he's about to set for this defense. And I think this is very much a great move for the Patriots to establish a floor for their edge rush position. He's not going to be a guy that you really want as your number one edge rusher, as we've seen over the last 2 years. But as a guy that can contribute pressure alongside hopefully a healthy Christian Barmore, a motivated Keon White, who I think is going to be a demon from the inside. And if anything, this allows him to move inside. And you're looking at the depth chart now, and all of a sudden, like, I don't mind the front seven. I think that the Patriots need another defensive tackle. We'll see if they add a Milton Williams tomorrow. Excited to see what they do there. All of a sudden, if you bring in Milton Williams, your defensive front's looking pretty darn good, because I even like that they brought back Christian Ellis, who's a decent role player for them. But yeah, I mean, the defense is going to have like 3 or 4 more moves plus the draft added to it. So I think this is a good football player, an above average football player that is excellent in one area of the game, that is going to bring a physicality to New England, which is very much needed. This Patriots defense was soft as Charmin last year. The Patriots need this. The Patriots wanted this, and they got it done. So I'm excited, man. This was a player I was going to predict to go to the Patriots. It was just almost too obvious. It made too much sense. A Mike Vrabel guy that he drafted, that he loves, that he knows the person, the personality, the player, the fit, the defensive line coach being our new defensive coordinator, on top of him being from Boston College. I mean, it just makes too much sense, right? I think he's going to be really good in the sense of he's going to be great in stunts and games and manufactured pressure. And I think that's where people may be lost. Like, if you just ask him to be a 4-man rush guy all the time, I think that's maybe where you can lose the value of the player. But I think the Patriots are going to be aggressive on their defensive front this year. I think they're going to mix in 4-man rush with pressure looks, with simulated looks. And I think they'll know how to utilize his game. And like I said, I feel like probably more of the power rush variety. But man, the Patriots didn't even have, guys, let's be honest about this Patriots defense. We do not have anywhere near a guy that has established himself as consistent as this player on defense. Barmore has not accomplished what this guy has accomplished. Keon White is nowhere close to establishing himself as a 10-plus sack guy over the last 3 years. This guy, for whatever you want to say, had 12 sacks, 10.5 sacks, and 9 sacks, and had 9 sacks 2 years before that. So he's had a level of production that nobody on the Patriots has. You can simply point at that and say that, and that alone is a good signing. That alone is a good indication. And it's not like he's old, And also in terms of his Pro Football Focus grading, he's the highest graded edge rusher we would have on our team. Keon White was 46th, Anthony Jennings was 52nd, Dietrich Wise was 79th, who will probably leave in free agency. Unfortunately, because I love Wise for the old days, but he's probably done. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think New England's probably going to go and get a corner. I think they could get a third safety, and I wouldn't be shocked. They could add a linebacker, and I wouldn't be shocked. But I think D tackle is going to be a big one. So I'm looking forward to that. And I feel like if we could get another edge rusher, maybe even not in free agency, if we just, maybe like a rotation rusher in free agency, but if we could just get like a rookie, like a young guy at the edge position with Landry, with Jennings, with White as our edge rotation, I feel pretty good about that. And then being able to have maybe more of a designated pass rusher role for the guy to sub in for an Anthony Jennings on a third down, or even a rookie, maybe multiple. But like, yeah, I think the Patriots defense by the end of this offseason on paper is going to be looking pretty darn good. And this is a good start. So I'm excited, guys. You let me know what you think. Harold Landry has signed with the Patriots, a 3-year deal. He returns home to Mike Vrabel, and he returns home to Boston. Gronk, spike the like button. If you enjoyed this conversation, you'll love the BLV Discord. Guys, it's absolutely free. I post all my videos in there, all my Bleacher Report stuff, everything that's going on with the channel, and we talk NFL all day long. So make sure to join the other awesome community members in the Discord. Link in the pinned comment and the description. It's Mitch. Subscribe, jabroni. Go Pats. Peace.